Hey everyone, it's Haley Gabrielle, and today we'll be reading from The Spirit of Faith by Mark Hankins. This has been one of the most encouraging books I've read in a very long time, so I highly recommend it for everybody. And I know it's still on sale and everything, so I just was gonna pick like a couple pages to read from it because I encourage you all to just go ahead and buy the book. Because like I have no rights or any copyrights or anything for it, but I just wanted to share a little sneak peek because it was just that encouraging. So this will be taken from page 75. It's chapter 9, and it's called The Sound of Faith. So he says, several years ago, I went hunting for coyotes in Arizona with a friend who was an avid hunter. We got up early in the morning while it was still dark and put on camouflage outfits, pants, shirts, hats, and boots. My shotgun and pistol were camouflaged. Even my hands and face were covered with camouflage paint. My friend also gave me a pair of camouflage glasses with a camouflage veil. I was so camouflaged, when I looked in the mirror, I couldn't even see myself. We went out on a mountainside and sat on the ground under a big bush, with camouflage netting wrapped around us. My friend began to call the coyotes with a little wooden call he blew. It made a loud squealing noise, like the sound of a wounded rabbit. When the coyotes heard the squeal of the hurt rabbit, they would come for what they thought was a nice meal. My friend and I stayed under the bush for several hours calling the coyotes. I was starting to feel pretty ridiculous because we were two grown men dressed like Rambo sitting there making crazy noises. We never got a coyote that day, but I learned a valuable lesson. The Lord began to talk to me about my faith. Many people, even spirit-filled Christians, are continually whining and speaking defeat and depression, calling up the coyote a failure. Their wounded rabbit call attracts the devil, and he comes to devour them for lunch. It is open season on the person who whines, complains, and constantly speaks fear and failure. That kind of attitude opens the door to the devil. We have many wounded rabbits in the church who need to change their sound. I don't believe the devil can kill anyone anytime he wants. He must get you to agree with doubt and fear before he can harm you. Faith agrees with God and shuts the door on the devil. By changing your sound to a bold declaration of who you are in Christ Jesus, you will begin to attract the blessings of God in a greater measure. How does one change a lifelong habit of wounded rabbit language? A good place to begin is Philemon chapter 1, verse 6, that the communication of thy faith may become effectual by the acknowledging of every good thing which is in you in Christ Jesus. The Apostle Paul is saying that our faith will become effective by the acknowledging of every good thing that is in us because we are in Christ. Many good things are in us who are in Christ. We need to acknowledge our identification with Christ by boldly saying things like, "The Lord is my helper and I will not fear," Hebrews 13:6. "I am who God says I am. I have what God says I have. I can do what God says I can do." We will no longer speak the cry of defeat, fear, and doubt, but by acknowledging our identification with Christ, he will begin making the sounds of victory, health, prosperity, and blessings. So that's the end of chapter 9, but I was just so encouraged by everything in this book so far, and especially this chapter. I just love how he painted that picture of a hunter, and then he applied something in the physical realm to our spiritual state, and I just thought that was so encouraging. So I hope you all were blessed, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.